Hello and welcome. This presentation is part of the Berman & Associates Lawyers Workshop series. This series is designed to provide some very basic information with regard to the important subjects involved in practicing law. A lawyer's primer on professional liability issues includes the lawyer's practice environment. Some of these materials you may have seen before and some may be new to you. We've tried to create a presentation that covers the issues involved with risk management in law firms, and most specifically, how to avoid professional liability claims against yourself and others in your firm. This presentation is brought to you by Berman & Associates. Our firm was begun in 1991 and has for 20 years engaged in more than 1,700 assignments on behalf of 1,400 law firms and insurers around the world. These include firms of every kind, from a single lawyer to over 700 lawyers, from intellectual property to plaintiff personal injury law. The firm has accomplished an estimated 4 times more of such assignments than any other consulting practice in the United States. Berman & Associates has been hired directly by law firms and lawyers, or through independent insurance brokers and/or professional liability insurance underwriters. Today, the firm is involved in all phases of law firm practice management, including mergers and acquisitions, partnership and shareholders agreements, calendaring systems, conflict systems, integrated practice management, law firm planning, business practice management, partner compensation, and of course risk management. Consultants in our firm have more than 35 years of experience each in working with law firms. We're available to help with any of your law firm and practice management or risk management needs. Every lawyer practicing today knows that the environment in which lawyers practice is largely tilted against them. The reality is that the American public thinks very little of a practicing lawyer. It's important to understand this because the way in which issues may be settled when there is difficulty between a lawyer and their client is very much determined by the attitude of the client. If the client believes that a lawyer is doing the best they can do and is truly engaged in their representation, then the chances are less that that client may seek to file a professional liability claim against the lawyers if things go wrong. The opposite is true as well. If a client believes his lawyer is not fully engaged in their matter and doesn't really care about the resolution, then they are much more likely to bring a professional liability. The truth is that in the lawyer's world of 2011-2012, the impact of highly negative public perception makes a big difference in whether or not a practicing lawyer has difficulty with regard to professional liability claims. It is very important that a lawyer understand that world in which the clients live and work. It's important that the lawyer take these issues into consideration when they're accepting an assignment to represent a new client. If the client is having difficulty and they're in a situation where they have very little to lose by bringing a claim against their lawyer, then they're much more likely to do so. It is therefore necessary and incumbent upon a lawyer to understand this and work with this unhappy scenario with which we are presented. Unfortunately, too, it would not appear that the situation involved with the economy in either the United States or the United Kingdom is going to get a whole lot better anytime soon. Those economic doldrums with which we are dealing have a lot to do with whether or not a lawyer has to contend with a professional liability claim. In fact, the number of claims against lawyers has risen substantially since 2008 with the Lehman Brothers meltdown. And lawyers today have to be aware of the fact that the client may be having a great deal of difficulty. If they have the opportunity, or if they have no other alternative, they will pass along that misery to their lawyer when push comes to shove. There are 2 important things to remember as a practicing lawyer today, and they are critical to a lawyer's welfare. The first is that lawyers may be sued for malpractice regardless of the standards of care of any particular community. That is to say, a lawyer may practice perfectly consistently with the community standards which have been set, but they may still be sued. And the second, which is a concomitant to that, is that lawyers don't have to do anything wrong to be sued. For these reasons, it's important that a lawyer adopt a defensive position in order to protect themselves by virtue of that knowledge of how things work in the real world. Risk management represents value added. It provides for an improved organization, which in turn provides for better planning. It provides for safety and security and the ability to avoid professional liability claims. And, in the last analysis, it provides for a better economic return. The role of risk management is one of an overall view of the entire organization. It's a focus on the processes involved, the way that lawsuits are first accepted into the firm, and the way they're managed throughout the process of representation. Risk management includes a management of the practice with a sensitivity to the potential for liability. In other words, it understands that things can go wrong. Finally, it includes the utilization of previous experience, so that a firm can make determinations on the basis of what's gone on in the past and apply those experiences to the current situation. The conclusion is that avoiding professional liability claims is critical to lawyer and law firm success. Lawyers and law firms are a target for any number of claims, as we discussed earlier in this presentation. The economics, which are so much part of our daily lives, had a lot to do with whether or not lawyers are sued for malpractice. And professional liability claims damage both the firm's reputation, as well as costing a great deal of money, as well as insurance expense. Thank you for spending time with us today. Please contact me to discuss what we may be able to do for you and your firm to keep you out of harm's way. Thank you.